This man has helped thousands make millions. He's Steve Nicklin, founder and president of Nicklin Property Management in Las Vegas. For almost a quarter of a century, he's managed rental properties for literally thousands of investors. He's the man top realtors choose to manage their properties. I'm Gene Greisman. If you're interested in managing or investing in rental property, listen up. If I go out and buy a single piece of property, is this a business?
Basically, that is the truth. It is a business. Whether you're managing your own property or I'm managing for you, the only difference is who's working for you. Okay? And if you're paying me, then my obligation, fiduciary obligation, is do a much better job than I think you can do yourself. I am not allowed to make the mistake. I live by my reputation. I die by my reputation. A high-quality property manager will by far save you much more in the long run. Because when the hot water heater goes out, it goes out. It has to be fixed.
Steve, what are you going to do for me as a property manager?
Pick the best qualified tenant.
Great credit, but a poor attitude. Who will you choose?
One of the things most unprofessionals don't understand is the law of discrimination in fair housing. Okay? It's race, creed, color, religion, national and infamous status, and handicaps. If you walk into my office and you have good credit and good references, I have to take you. I am your agent. I work for you. Okay? And I am not allowed to make mistakes like that. This is business. This is a business.
Steve, you've given us some great ideas on property management techniques. You've worked with thousands of investors like me. Where do people go wrong when they try to rent property?
Well, through my experience of most of the people who have come to me who have had problems with single-family home property management, it truly ends up being the owner's fault. And I can just go through the property, documenting one item at a time. Valve 1 of the sprinkler system is not working correctly, has a broken sprinkler head. Valve 2 is okay, valve 3 has this wrong, that wrong. I document whether or not it needs cleaning, whether or not it needs repairs. I fill out the form, I hand it to the tenant, I really don't say much of anything. Ease yourself by being as professional as possible and stating the facts just the way they are.
Let's talk about legal issues. What can the owner claim? What can the tenant claim?
But I have to understand this is not my money. So the tenant painted the bedroom blue, and in response they keep the deposit. Keep a $1,000 deposit because we painted one room blue. Well, that's not fair. It's not honest. To replace the room and paint it back white is the correct, and just charge them for what it is. Yes, right is right, and you are absolutely right.
Steve, what about going to court?
It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of your money. It's just a big waste. 99% of all court can be avoided. I am hardly ever in court.
Are there any other front-end tasks that you'd perform in order to avoid problems in the future?
Know your market. Please know your market.
You've given us some excellent advice about preventing costly mistakes. Let's talk about vacancy. That's a problem. Do a lot of people that contact you have a house that's been sitting vacant?
Yes, quite a few of them are sitting vacant.
Tell me, what's the difference between wear and tear and maintenance? And who's responsible for each?
Okay. And that is debatable. And it usually has, the opinion is based on who has to pay. Okay? Owners think everything is maintenance, and tenants think everything is wear and tear.
So as a general premise, maintenance is the tenant's responsibility, correct?
Yes and no.
For the gray area, the tenant's responsibility would be the basic things like maintenance, correct?
For those things that they should be able to do themselves. Now, the larger things in life, like air conditioning, heating systems, garbage disposals that wear out, mainline sewers that clog up because of roots or trees, the refrigerator, the range oven, the dishwasher, for instance, a washer and dryer in a townhouse, those are the owner's responsibilities.
Okay, now moving through the sequence. The new lease is signed, the tenant's ready to move in. What do you do now? Do you keep a set of keys?
No, I do not keep a set of keys. When we move in the property, as we discussed, the most important thing to do is to document the condition of the property.
One of your employees physically goes with the tenant that day to inspect the house. Is that correct?
We go completely through the property, checking on the property, documenting the condition of that house that day.
Steve, my property is sitting vacant, the tenants moved out, and repairs are needed. Who pays for them?
You do. Now, that's with the understanding, of course, that these repairs were not caused by somebody else.
What else can an investor do at the front end to make it more profitable?
Well, in part of, for instance, use an example of paint. Your favorite color may be blue or green, but it's not everybody else's. If you pick neutral colors, neutral tones, it may not be as flamboyant as you want, but it will fit everybody's furniture.
Okay, by choosing the correct type of paint, I can help ensure a profit on my investment. What about carpeting? Same idea?
Well, if I have a choice, I want beige. I'm not really crazy about white. White is a full-time job, and most people who pick white carpet never intended of renting their house in the first place.
Steve, do you have a formula for this? What formula works for you in determining the property value?
I haven't seen a formula that works.
Okay.
I think 10 times gross rent is a little bit high. That's mostly what I would think you would see in a commercial setting of a fourplex, an apartment complex. You want to make sure that your rent you are buying are rents that would work in the neighborhood. So if you are a young person starting out in your life, then your first house should be your first rental.
What about realtors outside your area? Will you consult with them?
I do consulting on a regular basis, either for individuals like yourself and at times for groups. I don't want to do your realtor's job of looking at 12 houses and telling you what to buy, but if you've got to the point where it was broken down to a choice of X house or Y house, then I'd be more than glad to take a look at it. I'd be more than glad to give you my opinion of it, because the better your choice today is the easier my job is next week.
Would you be available to do a consultation with someone who wants to do what you do?
I would more than glad to, and I've done it on quite a few occasions. This is a good business. I do not get late night phone calls in the middle of the night about hot water heaters. It's fairly easy, but typically it is fairly simple. Most people are nice, Gene. Most people are reasonable. Most people understand there's nothing I can do about your air conditioner at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Do you still take the risk of buying that property?
Do your homework. I have bought properties, Gene, without seeing them, based on a telephone call from a realtor that I trust. And I have done the research. I know whether or not the pie in the sky is there or not. Whereas the profit should be the day you bought it.
Steve, this has been terrific. What's the best piece of advice you could give the investor?
Gene, don't get in your own way.
What do you mean, don't get in your own way?
Keep sight of what we discussed. The underlying theme of most of what we've been talking about is that this is business. Don't be so arrogant in your thoughts, so proud of your property, so proud of yourself that you're not willing to do what you have to do to make this situation go well.
So you would say that would you say that the calculator is perhaps the most important part of your business?
It's my very best friend. It's my #1 financial advisor. It's my calculator.
Steve, you've been so helpful with your knowledge and expertise. Thank you. And for you viewers, I'd like you to know that Steve Nicklin is available for private consultation. I'm Gene Greissman.